Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your daily dose of SirToshi's news. Got an absolute banger for you today, which is why I thought I'd do this show. I will try and do some more updates regularly from now on. I've been exceptionally busy behind closed doors dealing with stuff. But here we go. Let's get on with the show. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. This is what the show is about today. This is an article from Cointelegraph. It says S.E.C delays set deadlines for Bitcoin ETF approval to early 2024. I wonder why that could be. Let's check it out. So it says with a maximum of 240-day window available to the S.E.C to delay crypto ETF applications, some firms could wait until March 2024 to hear decisions on filings made in July 2023. So for anybody who doesn't know what an ETF is, an ETF stands for an exchange traded fund. So what it is, you have a fund full of investments. And rather than owning those investments directly, what you do is you own a share in the fund that owns those investments. So again, with BlackRock's what they call a BTC ETF application, what they're saying to people is, you give us your dirty dollar, your filthy fiat, and we will buy BTC for you, but you're not going to own BTC. You're going to own the shares in the trust that owns the BTC, and then we will give out dividends according to how the BTC performs, as in like its value. But BTC is a fixed supply commodity. So it's not a company that actually produces profits and therefore pays out dividends. So it's a bit silly as to how it's going to work. And also, Bitcoin in the white paper is described as cash. It's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's meant to be spent. And if you're not holding it, you don't have it. So this is, again, just another way by a large corporation with their own financial interests in the central banking system to stop people from using Bitcoin for what it was meant to be, which is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So the whole idea is ridiculous, but they want other people's money in order to buy BTC. And they're not actually going to hold any BTC. But I suspect they're also probably going to do this for Bitcoin, which we know is BSV. And we know we've got the court case coming up on the 15th of January 2024. Coincidence in the date? I do not think so at all. So let's have a butcher's at this article. So it continues. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, the financial regulator with the final say over allowing a spot cryptocurrency exchange traded fund, may be moving closer to giving the investment vehicle the green light after several years of applications. Again, it's ridiculous. But again, people don't want egg on their faces, but we know what's coming. And actually, I should have had it prepared. We already know that BlackRock do not look confident that BTC is Bitcoin, because they've got caveats in their application which says they reserve the right to change their mind because forks have resulted in, BCH and Bitcoin Gold. And they were very careful not to mention BSV because we know they don't want to bring attention to it. So in June, the world's largest asset management firm, BlackRock, added its application to the bundle of, we'll call it BTC, because we know that that's what they're referring to. It's not Bitcoin. BTC ETF filings currently being reviewed by the SEC, creating renewed interest among investors in and out of crypto space. The company later added a surveillance sharing agreement with cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase following reports the SEC could be more open to accepting an ETF application under such conditions. BlackRock is one of the many firms with crypto ETF applications in the SEC pipeline. ARK Investment, under CEO Cathie Wood, filed for it to list ARK 21 shares spot Bitcoin ETF in May 2023 and received the most recent delay from the SEC on August 11th, pushing back the deadline for another 21 days as the regulator opens the proposal to public comments. And now again, the reason the SEC is being reserved on this is because they know there's a problem and it's their job to protect the public. So if the public ends up getting egg on their face and this turns out to be a scam, which we know all cryptocurrencies are, because only the genuine Bitcoin is a digital commodity and that has the ticker symbol BSV, the regulators are going to be absolutely shafted by the public, not fit for purpose and all this kind of stuff. But, we know that the SEC is effectively financed by the banks themselves, and the banks don't want Bitcoin, so they're kind of like in a difficult position here between like the banks are just like, look, we don't want anybody using Bitcoin, so therefore we want you to approve an ETF, because that means the people aren't actually using it, they're just buying shares in the company that's going to buy it for them on their behalf. But then they're buying shares in like a BTC ETF, which we know is a digital piece of garbage, to put it politely. I prefer digital dog shit because it rhymes, but there we go. So under S.E.C guidelines, the federal regulator has the authority to delay ETF applications for up to 240 days by opening them to public comment or otherwise from the first filing in the Federal Register. Even so, the S.E.C has never approved a spot Bitcoin ETF proposal from any firm in the United States and only started accepting investment vehicles tied to BTC futures in October 2021. One of the challenges behind getting the S.E.C to allow a spot crypto ETF may be the nature of the investment vehicle. BTC futures linked ETFs also enables the individuals and companies to invest in the crypto asset without an exchange, while a spot Bitcoin ETF could involve holding Bitcoin within a fund or more direct investment. You should be holding it personally in your wallets to be used yourself. It is so ridiculous. Oh yeah, we're just going to give you some filthy fiat and dirty dollar, which is securities fraud, so that you can purchase this commodity and hold it for yourself. And literally, they get their currency back by selling their shares in this thing, and they'll be like, oh right, so we have to sell our currency, we have to sell our shares in this fund in order to actually buy the Bitcoin that we should have bought in the first place. Well, yeah, I mean, this is literally just a clown world. This is just so ridiculous when you actually understand what's going on. But nobody, I bet half the people don't even know what an ETF is. An exchange traded fund. Oh, well, what does that mean? Not really sure. They're literally trading on people's ignorances. This is so insane. So Gemini co-founders Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss were the first to apply for crypto exchange traded product listing using their Bitcoin trust in July 2013. When many regulators might not have even understood digital currencies, which they don't because they're securities fraud, and the S.E.C ultimately rejected the application. Well, good for them. Dodged that bullet. Stuart Barton, co-founder and chief investment officer of Volatility Shares, the firm behind the listing of the leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF in June, told Cointelegraph its process of applying with the S.E.C involved back and forth negotiations. It's because you've got the blind leading the blind. No one knows what they're doing. None of these people actually understand what Bitcoin is. And the Bitcoin Standard Book and Understanding Bitcoin are both wrong. They're both wrong. So who can you get advice on Bitcoin from? Well, the only person who really understands it is Craig and myself, I would like to add. And nobody is asking Craig. And nobody's asking me. So I'll try and explain it to them, but we know that they don't want to hear that. They're hoping that ignorance is bliss and people get absolutely wrecked, and they're just going to point fingers at each other and say, oh, it's not our fault, it's his. No, it's not our fault, it's theirs. Blah 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 blah, and it's all going to end in tears. It's already the largest financial bubble in history, even compared to the Tulip Trust, the South Sea Company, and the dot-com bubble. They are dwarfed by BTC. And again, for anybody new listening to the show, BTC became a bubble when they implemented SegWit on the 24th of August 2017 because it removed all economic value and contractual credibility from the network, meaning it's an absolute pile of shite. So the regulators are right to reject an ETF in that. So, quotes here, big companies have been doing the same thing they've been doing for years, said Barton. Yeah, there are new applications, new filings. They haven't really moved the argument along. Well, it's because nobody knows where to go. At the time of publication, major asset investment firms with spot Bitcoin ETF applications under review by the S.E.C include BlackRock, ARK Investment, Bitwise Asset Management, Van Eck, Wisdom Tree, Invesco and Galaxy Digital, Fidelity and Valkyrie. With a maximum of 240-day extension window available to the S.E.C, the final deadline for ARK's Bitcoin ETF is in January 2024. Oh, we know the date, January 15th. While approval or dismissal of all other firms' offerings could come as late as March 2024. Part of the S.E.C's seeming reluctance to sign off on a spot crypto ETF could be from the nature of the crypto market in the United States, which, while regulated, has left many lawmakers and industry leaders calling for greater clarity and oversight. Yeah, because they don't know where to get it from. The S.E.C is currently pursuing enforcement cases against Coinbase, Binance and Ripple, and it has already levied financial penalties against firms such as Bittrex, Barton added, Both sides are going to bend a little bit. I think the S.E.C. are going to have to be a little bit more open-minded. Is that pun there? A little bit open-minded. There's going to be a lot more bending, I think, from the crypto side. Well, the crypto side is all securities fraud. They're all securities fraud, if you actually understand what a security is. It's ridiculous that they don't know this. US lawmakers are currently considering legislation to better define the roles of S.E.C. and Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Well, I mean, they're going to change them to try and shirk responsibility, if you ask me. Should have in regulating digital assets. In addition, both the regulator and the industry may have to consider court decisions until regulations are better defined, as a judge in the S.E.C. versus Ripple case largely ruled that XRP was not a security. What an absolute joke. What a joke. XRP was centrally created by Ripple. It's not even distributed, let alone economically competitive. And the escrow that the XRP is held in gets dished out to Ripple, no one else. And then even if you listen to David Schwartz, who is the chief technical officer, he said it was up for grabs. You can't have something that's up for grabs. It needs to be competed for. It is absolutely centralized. It is totally securitized. It's insane. Good grief. And so we continue here. Quotes here. The ETF application process puts the S.E.C. in an incredibly powerful position, said Barton. Gensler has a great amount of sway in that. The political makeup of the commission definitely influences that. As of August, certain analysts have suggested that the chances of a spot Bitcoin ETF being approved in the US are close to 65%, based partly on BlackRock's application. Again, it's all social coercion. What's the word? Social peer pressure, basically, because it's like the blind leading the blind. BlackRock must know what they're talking about because they're BlackRock. No, they don't have a clue. And I personally think they're nefarious, in my own opinion. So both Cathie Wood and Grayscale, the asset manager currently suing the S.E.C. over its ETF application, have hinted that the regulator could approve multiple applications simultaneously to avoid any company having an advantage over another. There we go. Oh my goodness me. Watch this space, people. But there we go. There we have it. That is the date. And this is the reason I suspect that they have delayed the applications, because they know what is coming, as do we. The largest court case in financial history. I've called it the Cabal versus Bitcoin. It's Copa versus Craig Wright, but you may as well call it Cabal versus Bitcoin, because we know what's really going on. There we go. That's a 12-minute show. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.